Stephentown's Gardner Field was packed with teepees, tents, vehicles, and people for this year's festival. The music you hear is by the hosting musical group, the Res Dogs from Connecticut. One of their performers is Rich Carlson.
We get to see a lot of folks that we haven't seen in a while. Everybody kind of comes together. It's more of a celebration, and eating. There's food and vendors and everything. So it's a good time. It's a fun weekend.
The event was produced by the nonprofit Healing Winds, whose director is Susan Jameson.
Now, a week ago, Stephentown was underwater. It was considered a state of emergency here. The very field we're standing on now was under a foot of water, and they didn't want me to see it because it was underwater. And both bridges down the road to 22 and on 43 were closed. So we were told it wasn't possible to have an event here. And a week later, we're here. The sun is shining, the bridges are open, the fields are dry, and we have thousands of people. So I'm very grateful.
Her partner in producing the festival is Fidel Moreno, who originally hails from New Mexico.
It's good. I feel really, really good. I knew that when we talked about doing this 4 years ago, it would take us 4 to 6 years to create a signature event, but I really saw that there was a need for a wonderful cultural event that a whole family, grandma, grandpa, aunties, uncles, nephews, grandchildren could come to, and even some dogs. I see a lot of people walking their dogs over here.
Moreno talks about the choice to use the event as a platform to bring attention to the needs of our veterans.
And I have a niece, got back from Afghanistan. I have 2 cousins in Iraq. I have a lot of friends and family all over the country that have somebody in either, in the military or serving in the Middle East in the military. And we are creating the White Eagle Sanctuary, a healing center. That's why we're doing this powwow, to bring attention to Native American healing, especially for veterans and trauma.
In ceremonial tradition, the Res Dogs played a warrior song as veterans and members of dozens of tribes throughout the nation entered the arena to be honored by the audience. The MC asked that those events not be recorded. After the ceremony, I spoke with Cheryl Poppy, the Director of Veterans Programs for the Veterans Affairs Office of Massachusetts.
Housing, homelessness issues, employment issues, and we also, do a lot of communications and really working as much as we can to try to get the word out to veterans to say, if you need assistance, get assistance, come and talk to us, talk to your Veteran Services Officer so that you can learn about what benefits you've earned and what you're eligible for, and just taking the time to sit down and do that.
Poppy says she was glad to come across the state line to table the powwow.
And this powwow, where you have cultural diversity, you have cultural means toward expressing oneself, healing. This is another opportunity for us to get here and reach out to them and talk to these veterans that are here.
One program started by the Mass VA office is called SAVE, or Statewide Advocacy for Veterans Empowerment. Victor Nunez Ortiz is a caseworker with SAVE and a former combat veteran as well.
I can talk from experience that it does help, and it empowers you to do better in life, and there's a lot of good things that Veteran Services has to offer.
The New York Division of Veterans Affairs was represented as well. Bill Krause is the Executive Deputy Director. He says there are more than 1 million vets in the state of New York.
A lot of veterans come home and they say, I've been in the military 4 years, 20 years, 25 years, and I've been a heck of a great soldier, sailor, marine, or airman. How do I become a heck of a vet? And we try to make them become vets. Good vets, and we try to educate them on what they need to do. And then the pillars of success are healthcare, education, employment, and there's a whole array of financial needs.
Krause's colleague Andrew Roberts works for the Eastern New York branch of the VA.
I think that there's an assumption out there from a lot of people that maybe when a service member leaves the military that they're automatically connected with all of their benefits. And that's simply not the case right now. The way that the system's set up is there's a ton of federal and state benefits that exist right now, but they do not go to the veteran. The veteran has to go to them and apply them, and that's actually our mission.
To help with this, the VA brings on real veterans like Sam Rounds, a Vietnam vet who himself suffers with PTSD but wants to help the next wave of returning soldiers.
I see all these people coming back. They need help, and that's something that I try to do with Bob, is meet with these people just on a one-to-one basis, just to become friends and familiarize them with what's happened to me and what I received through the Veterans Administration, and how to take them just as another combat soldier and bring them into that.
Rounds is referring to Bob Ryder, one of the many vets honored in the arena moments earlier. He is the Director of Veterans Affairs for Rensselaer County.
The biggest thing I see is, like, when we came home from Vietnam, we took our uniforms off, and we didn't tell people we're veterans. Us Vietnam veterans around here said that'll never happen again. We thank the guys who are in the service. That's never going to happen again in our lifetime. We won't let that happen again.
Ryder says he was able to bring in over $15 million for the 12,000 vets in Rensselaer County, pointing out Assemblyman Tim Gordon as a major factor in that accomplishment. Gordon was also mentioned in the ceremony. Gordon points out that our current form of government owes a lot to the tribes that preceded European settlement in the United States.
The Iroquois Nation had their democracy, and a lot of our Constitution involves the principles from the Iroquois nations. It's a homegrown democracy, and we shouldn't overlook what the Native peoples have contributed to that.
For more information on the programs and agencies mentioned, log on to WAMC.org. Charlie Deitz, WAMC News.